Two Jerrys are better than one. Sorry, lads. I don't know what happened there. Colin and Fox here just coming in again.
What a fucking catch.
This is what lack of sleep does to you.
What did you do?
I was all you know what I was trying to do. I was trying to get a picture for an overlay, and I tried to edit it, and gone. Don't know what happened.
So for everybody who's
live.
watching, Jerry just fucking shot the bed.
Yeah,
and just
live stream.
Added a second feed to the stream, then left that, ended the stream, then kicked himself out. Me and Foxy were sitting there like two ticks going, what the fuck is going on? And now Jerry's after sending us a new link. So hopefully it wasn't too much of an inconvenience for anybody watching.
That's all right. We'll be
now we're just waiting for Mr. Fox to jump back in.
We'll be grand.
The stream couldn't handle
it's live TV.
Yeah, Jerry caused a fucking paradox with two Jerrys in the stream.
The multiverse of madness fucked everything
fucking up. Hell.
Oh, what a disaster!
Who gave this man controls?
I don't know. Too many people.
This is why you don't drive when you're sleepy, folks, because shit like that happens. Only if you're in a car, you end up dying from it. You don't just get kicked out of a stream.
Yeah. Thankfully, I'm still sitting here.
Do you know what's funny though, right? I left that chat and I said to Fox, did you get that link? Yeah. Right, Grant, go on. I'll see it in there. So this is how long it's after taking Foxy to copy and paste. and he's still not here. Like all he had to do was literally copy and paste.
Yeah. And we had a good 17 minutes there before we even got into it. Like, so we'll have to try and edit them all together now and they end up like it all one big episode. Anyway, while we're waiting for Foxy to come back in, the big news of Balor and Jordan coming over. Does anybody think that other WWE talent or other big names are going to be added to that show? Claire, I do not ruin everything. Leave me alone.
I think we are very, very fortunate to have two.
Yeah.
And I think that people probably need to have a look at that and see how lucky we are to have that and stop second guessing things and looking for more, because we're probably not going to get it and you're probably just going to end up disappointed.
Yeah.
What did he say? Working yourself into a shoot. I've seen a lot of people. Saw a lot of people working themselves into a shoot this week.
Yeah. I went for Fox to come back in because I wanted to mention that now before we get into the show. Like this poster, this smoky poster that's going around that with somebody's face.
Yeah. Is Deco still in here? I don't know if Deco's still here. Sorry, SRFC, whatever he calls himself.
Gone again.
Like Deco always works himself into a shoot when it comes to football. Like he was telling me that, like, if some fella didn't pitch invade, that Rovers would have overturned a 2-0 deficit and would have won the Champions League. So yeah.
Sorry about that. I was being called to get.
That was my fault.
Food.
You were being called to get food.
Yeah.
What food?
Food. As in
dinner. We've got enough for everybody.
Oh yes. What have you got there, Foxy?
Nice egg, chips, and a giant burger.
Lovely.
Nice.
Lovely.
So with two pieces of butter bread, gonna make some sandwiches.
Right, Claire says she knows who she wants for the anniversary. Right, Claire, who do you want for the anniversary?
Yeah, you don't just say this and not like
Joe Hendry on a show after the anniversary. We had Joe Hendry before.
Yeah, we're not all right again.
Like, Joe is a good lad, right? But like, he's a gimmick, right? He's like his wrestling is okay. Like he's done extremely well for himself to be as popular as he is now. And like, to be fair, in my opinion, like he can have a match, but like after his entrance, like you just get him to come out and do his entrance like, and leave, like, you know.
He's a generic wrestler once that bell rings.
Mark's in the chat. He wants to know how.
Don't tell Mark that. Mark's in the chat about the egg, but he loves Joe Hendry, so I don't know how he's going to feel about that.
I think
Love
he's
him all
done.
he
I think
wants.
he's done extremely well for himself, and fair fucking play to him. But yeah, like wrestling ability isn't his forte. Very witty guy. I did finish my thought, Irish lads. Feckin' Terry, man. Yeah. Feckin' Terry, man. Claire
Fucking
says.
Fucking Terry, man. Like,
Was that Terry's chocolate orange or?
what's crazy? So, like, this is tell you how fucking nerdy I am. So, there's a show years ago called Kanikuman. One of the characters in it is actually called Terryman, which is yeah. I'm just big nerd. Fuck
We're all big nerds.
that.
Ryanus is saying Terry does need a stadium appearance.
Yes, he does. Yes, he fucking
does.
does.
After that match, we'll get into the shows because we'll talk about Terry
Yeah.
Thatcher and Mike
Please
Bailey in a bit. Like, but we'll get into what obviously we have already. If anybody joining the stream now, there's a previous stream you can go back and watch us talking about the Balor and stuff like before I cut everybody off with the multiverse of madness.
You can see what happened with that. You'll
So
see
weird.
why it ended.
Yeah, we fucked up the space time continuum. So
The multiverse of Jerry.
So anyway, Scrappermania Dublin, amazing show. A lot of people are calling it one of the best independent shows they've ever seen. A lot of people are just calling it one of the best OTT shows they've ever seen. Mark's in the chat. He called it one of the best independent shows he's ever seen.
A fella's a Mark. A fella's a Mark.
Mark isn't his real name. It's just a gimmick.
Yeah.
So, obviously the big news coming out of Dublin before we get into, we'll talk about Belfast in a bit. Like the big match, Be Cool overthrows fucking Trent Seven. The big match, the big name thing coming into the show was Sammy and Barry going into it with this surprises of who's going to be on Team Barry. Everybody was trying to guess who's it going to be. I think Claire got it right in the end up, and I still owe you a t-shirt, Claire. You wouldn't take it off me, but we got Justy, we got Joe, and we got Angel Cruz. What did you think overall? I'm not sure, Foxy, if you were aware, in the background, if you knew everything was going on. I'm pretty sure you were. But Colin,
no.
What were your thoughts on the big surprises for Be Cool?
Yeah, listen, I was fucking delighted. I think there was a number of different ways that he could have gone. It was good to see the throwbacks and the tie-ins as well, which made it that little bit more special. I think Joe having his last match in that match as well it wasn't about him, so that was kind of a nice way to go out as well with that. I'm not going to make it all about myself. This is my last match. Let's have a fucking in an 8-man tag, Angel, massive pop, delighted. Justy, huge, so happy it was Justy as well. Justy, for anyone who doesn't know, Justy was trolling people on Instagram all day. He obviously took a lot of photos during the week or the day before of him at home making his lunch and out for a walk with the dog, and he was obviously at the show posting all this shit, and then just rocks up he did well there. He did well, but yeah, it was what it was supposed to be. It really was. If you were to ask me, could they have added anybody else? I can't think of anyone else who could have elevated it at all, or who would have made it more special, So
yeah,
I think it was right.
And what did you think overall, Foxy, of how that match played out? The way they teased everything, teasing Justy going heel or teasing Joe turning on Barry. There were so many ways they could have done that match, because the story between Barry and Joe over the last year or so, but then there's the story of Jay turning on Joe when he had the briefcase. So there's a lot of throwbacks to things happening. And then you had Jay turning on Sammy, and Jay was the protagonist, last year going in him and Sammy had that big blow off, and they were like, are they going to turn on each other? And it turned out it was Jay that turned and went back with Barry, turned with his old tag team partner. What did you think of how that played out?
It was done very it's masterfully done, to be honest, because you you call back to almost every era of Be Cool's story, with having the references to people like Angel Cruz, Justy, Joe Cabray, even Jay and Sam, like, and everyone that's involved in the draw, like, they all had a big part to play throughout B's career. So, and to not only that, to weave in some teasing as well as prodding of certain elements that could have been or have happened in the past is great as well, because it added that extra layer of uncertainty and tension, which made it so unpredictable for people to actually, like, is Sam actually going to win this, or is it going to be B? Is he actually going to do it? So, and that's what you want. You still wanted, like when you look back on it, it's brilliantly done, because it was never set in stone that it was going to be Barry. Like, they could have pulled a big swerve and have Sam win and go on against Trent, which would have made sense given how he lost the belt and what has happened since. But the fact to put that extra hurdle and stack the deck against Barry, it played into that more so. And then the drama for the match itself afterwards. So it's like, yeah, like, I thought it was very fantastically done. I didn't know who was going to be B's tag partners. When I seen Justy walk in, I knew straight away he was involved. I did not know Cabray was doing it. I did not know Angel Cruz was doing it.
Can I give you a little snippet about Cabray there, actually? So, as we know, Barry comes out, start of the match, and he's like, "Hey, what's the story, lads? Joe, just going to stop the show for 1 minute," right? So he does that, and we've seen him do it 100 times before. Comes out, "Joe, going to stop the show for 1 minute," and Joe's up in the balcony, but Joe's not up in the balcony. So Barry calls attention to Joe's position, prompting everybody to turn around and look. Joe's not there. Joe didn't come back after the interval. Joe's gone since after the interval, and I copped it that he wasn't there, and I was like, okay, well, that's the giveaway that Joe's obviously in this match. For anyone who doesn't know, Cowboy was up there. Cowboy's wearing his cap. So when Barry goes, "Joe, we're just gonna stop the show for 1 minute," Cowboy's like this, and then puts his head down because he's wearing the cap, right? So if anyone does look up, you might see Cowboy doing this, and then dropping the head, or people might have looked up and only seen the cap, but it's a CJ West cap as well. So again, I don't know how many people would have been close enough to be able to read it, but I got a good pop out of that, because as soon as he said it, I looked up and I could just see that panic, the sheer panic on his face, going, "Don't fucking point attention to me." But yeah, I thought that was a good little tidbit if anyone caught that.
Like, just looking at what Claire said there, like, like, I'd be bursting to say it's me, I'm in the match, but like, that's not the point, Claire. The point of it was that, like, right, this helps Barry along, but it was also a great way to kind of like ride off into the sunset. I mean, you have a sold out national stadium, like, for a product that is your baby, and like, if you're ever gonna go out, like, why not go out in the best form possible, like, without taking the attention away from your main storyline. Like, so
yeah,
fantastically done.
Well, there's so many people that like that could have that match, or Joe could have even had that match of, like, this is Joe's last match, or have a career match, or announce it as his last match going into a big match, not that match specifically, but a big singles match, that this is my last match. But I think it just shows that it's not about me type of tact that he took, and that's what that match was about. It's like, this isn't about me. And from speaking to Joe in interviews previously, he said to me that, like, I'm happy with what I've done. I don't feel the need to continue wrestling. And this was 2 years ago where he was telling me this, so the itch wasn't there. He actively didn't like wrestling on shows that he's running himself as well. He actually likes working shows that he's not running, because he doesn't have to deal with so many things. Having a match on a show that he's actually running gets in the way a lot of the time. So I think he's content and he's happy, and to be able to have that match where it's not about him. And as you said, Fox, just right off into the sunset on the back of knowing, like, I don't think he could have picked a bigger, better show. Like, that was the first proper sellout post-COVID. Like, I know that we've come very, very close before, and we got like 90-95%, but like that one was packed to the rafters. There was 50 tickets left the day before. I'm presuming most of those 50 were sold. Like, it was a sellout, and I don't think like you could have picked a better way to go out on that one,
No.
What did you think the way they, like, first of all, Foxy, before we get onto the Trent and Barry match itself, four-way match, the 4-on-4 match, you'll have to clarify, was it an ODQ match because it wasn't advertised as one, and you let a lot of stuff slide?
It was a whatever the fuck Foxy wants to do match.
A lot of there was chainsaws, there was chairs.
Foxy rules match.
Referee's discretion, as they say.
Foxy, by the way, has no explanation right now. Just to let everybody know.
No, I have no explanation whatsoever.
It was just like a fucking happened. That's all you need to know. Listen, it doesn't need what it is. Doesn't need to be explained. It doesn't. No. Like, exactly. let's be fair. Like, yeah, like as I said to people on the night, like, people probably aren't gonna remember the match, the intricacies of the match. They're gonna remember the few small little moments, and that's all it's about. That's what people are gonna remember. They're gonna remember the chainsaw.
Yeah.
Like the match where Angel came out with the hatchet from under the ring. Do you even know what match it's from? Everyone knows the picture where he comes up from behind the ring with the hatchet.
You've done it a couple of times.
Rob in that match, no?
Rob
Harmon was in the ring in that match.
Anyway. Yeah, Rob was in that match.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, but people remember that he got the hatchet out, They don't remember the moves or the little things that happened in the match, They remember the big moments, So and that's something that we remember from that night is Foxy going into business for himself and then whatever the fuck he wanted and ruining the whole show on everybody and making it all about himself. How fucking dare you?
You played a blinder, don't you?
Played a blinder. You played a blinder.
Fucking blinder. Well, we'll talk about what you did in the main event because Trent Seven came out with a Barry on the floor. He's dead to the world. It looked like he was just going to walk all over him and it'll be over in no time. Thankfully, Barry hit him with a low blow, hit him with the belt. Looked like he had the 3 count. Trent kicked out, and what we got then was for Barry after going through what he went through in the tag match. Which I surprised that wasn't the first match. The way they played it, everybody's thinking, the 4-on-4 match would go first, and then whoever wins gets to the main event and they'll do everything in between. But whenever it was like Barry was dead to his, dead on his feet, it was like he doesn't stand a chance, which played into the drama even more. It's like there's no way he's going to beat Trent Seven now. Something mad's going to have to happen for him to do that. And something mad did happen. Trent decided to put his hands on Foxy, which is something you don't fucking do, Trent Seven.
Slapped the shit out
of Foxy.
Slap him fucking hard enough.
He got a deserved low blow for his fucking troubles.
He fucking did slap me hard enough.
He did. He connected a few times.
Should have rang the bell from Foxy. Should have rang the bell from.
I know.
He wanted that DQ. He wanted to keep the belt, but it wasn't to be. Thankfully.
Can I just say I'm a little bit disappointed, right? Just a little bit, because it would have been fucking brilliant had that been the 3 count after the belt hit. After the low blow and the belt, if that had been I'd have been happy. I genuinely would have been happy if that was the match. I know you have Trent on your card, and I know you have a lot there to do, and I know it might have been a waste of Trent, but Jesus, what that would have been the ultimate swerve, because as you said, Jerry, everyone thinks that Barry's out on his feet, Trent's just gonna come out and kill him. Low blow, belt shot, 1, 2, 3 would have been epic.
It would have been mad if Trent had did that for Barry, but I love the way it played out though, because he annihilated him. He was battering the crap out of him, and they went everywhere around the ring, and chairs were involved, Foxy was involved, belts were involved, and he finally got the moment, which was epic, absolutely fucking epic. The place went fucking mental. The place was shaking whenever he won. I'm not sure how you felt in the middle of the ring when it happened, Foxy. Everybody was up for fucking slapping the ring. I'm sure the ring must have been rattling when that happened.
It was for that. not only that, you also bear in mind that, like, I've known Barry for Jesus, like, a long ass time. Like, I'm not gonna say how long, but
Say
the
it.
fact that, like, at the very least, the last 5-6 years, like, he's been chasing the belt. Like, what started as a joke grew legs, and people got behind it. And it just, but he worked his ass off in order to do it, and to see it finally culminate is like, and to be a part of it is just amazing. Like, absolutely delighted. I think he deserves it. He's worked hard enough. Like just as a way to stand out, which is, yeah. Like, it was a great moment. Like, emotions ran high. That's for sure.
So do me a favor, Foxy. You've been in that ring for 10 years. You've been there for big moments. You've been there for Ryan winning the belt. You've been there for Joe, Pete, fucking Jordan beating Walter, the fella that we won't mention as well. You've been there for all those big moments. How did this match, how did this moment compare to them? Like, first off, did you know it was special at the time? Could you feel that emotion and specialness to it, the atmosphere that was around it?
Midway,
Okay.
I started to feel, I was like, yeah, this is big. Like, this is really big. Like, because as a performer, if we get a certain reaction or response, it may just be like something as simple as like Trent calling it the British championship, like instant, the venom in the crowd, and just want to see him get his face kicked in. Like, so it's just midway through that match is when I noticed, it was like, this is big. Like, they're gonna love it.
Because you've been at, like, as well as you've been at all the big moments, you've also been at the ones that fall a little short as well. Like, I've been to them ones, and there have been some where the crowd's asleep, or we've had a lot of people leaving, and the crowd starts to disperse going into that main event, or they've seen the big attraction. RVD was one of them. I remember after his match, a lot of people left, and the crowd kind of dies for that main event. They didn't do it here.
No.
So that was a signal to me that, like, okay, there's something here, you know. Like, I was actually surprised, because I'm always waiting to see if the crowd is going to stay up for it, or if people are going to leave, or how much interest there is. Because especially when you have your big stars, so like we had Danhausen, we had Speedball, we had Nemeth at that stage. I was like, right, are they going to hang around? Are they going to stick around? Are they going to watch it? Are they going to see it out? The earlier start time as well, I think, helps.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But then also, like, it is one of those things, you just never know how it's going to go. So when the crowd was still there and they were as hot as ever, like, if not, like, they that was the hottest they were, I was like, holy shit, like, this is unbelievable.
Do you think they proved the doubters wrong? Remember when he won the Rumble? Before that, people are saying, "Oh, he's, he shouldn't be in the main. He shouldn't be challenging for."
There's always going to be doubters there, and I think there still is some, and I think there's still people there who are saying, "Oh, he shouldn't have got the win, or should have been given to him, or Sam should have won, or Trent should have retained." And I think you're always going to have those people, and whether it be because they don't like him, or they don't get him, or they like Sam, or they like Trent, or they're just sad bastards and they just can't like what's in front of them, which for some people that is the case, that they just want to shit all over things. But there's always going to be those kind of people. The thing is that from what I saw everybody on their feet at the end of that match, and I took a beat. And when Foxy had Barry's hand raised in the ring, and I looked around both sides of the venue, and I was like, holy shit. I was like, this is one of those moments. And right then, you're like, fuck, this is gonna stand the test of time, this one. Like I had the same feeling then that when Jordan won against Walter. Like that was the same kind of ovation, and that was the same kind of electricity that was in the building. And I still remember that moment, and that was fucking 6-7 years ago now. you know. So like, it's you could kind of tell how special it was. You really could.
It's like for that, like it just. I was very worried because considering what we had as the second match on the card, we have Robbie X against Speedball, which, like both lads are just insanely talented. Like it just, and they're gonna put on a stellar match. Like they had the crowd constantly up, and then I thought, okay, grand, we managed to keep the energies up. Then it got to LJ and like Nemeth, and I was like, oh shit, they're probably gonna be spent now. This is before intermission, so. But thankfully, like, no, the energy stayed up high and it retained, like, even during the 4-on-4. And finally for the main event, which is a long stint of match if you think about it, because Barry has to go through 2 matches.
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy.
Back to back, which we can see that he can do it, but it's so physically demanding on the body that like I'd say there'd be like not much selling involved. It'd be all real. It's like, I'm in pain. But no, like we got extremely lucky that we have a great crowd that were behind it from the get-go and stayed that way throughout the show. So I don't have complaints in regards to like people can speculate all they want about like, this person should have won, this person should have won. But again, that's the beauty of wrestling. Like, it's not always gonna go the way you think it's gonna go.
Never.
And
they're the best parts.
Yes,
they're the fucking best parts when you get something
intangible.
unexpected. Yeah.
If it's predictable, it's not as
Where's the fun?
What's the fun of it? Exactly. Like it's too easy then.
Because like it gives us a different direction to go in. It's not the obvious choice. Like, okay, it's like this person won. It's like, yeah, because like the story made sense and it delivered. Like because you had fantastic performers that can do this. So it's or on the other side of it, it's like, right, you have terrible people that can't perform and they proved why they can't be in that kind of like that part of the fucking show. So again, it just wrestling is never supposed to be. If it was predictable, like it wouldn't be fun. Like
what wasn't predictable was what happened the next night on Aftermath. Unfortunately, Barry came out in a sling. He had to relinquish the title, and you know, obviously, we know what happened then. The triple threat match was made for the main event between Trent, Doris, and Big Damo, and Big Damo became the new OTT. Sad for Barry, they didn't get a chance to defend it. You know, this is a long suffering injury he's had for a while, like, and it re-emerged itself. So kind of sad that he didn't get a chance. He's not going to get that big moment at the anniversary show to defend the title. I'm not sure exactly who he would have been defending it against, but I'm sure there would have been a lot of drama going into that match, whatever it would have been. But what are your thoughts on him not getting a chance to defend it and relinquish it so quickly?
I think it's better safe than sorry, and it's not uncommon for people to work hurt in the lead up, especially during a run like that. Like you look at the likes of Balor, like years ago. Like he finished the match, but unfortunately the damage is done. So, and unfortunately you have to relinquish. I imagine this is the same case for Barry. This is a previous injury that he's had. And again, like you don't want to re-aggravate a previous injury because it could come back worse to the point where you cannot return from it.
Yeah.
So again, it's just a matter of safety for everyone involved. So, but at least he can say he is an undefeated champion. So
Jeez, he'll fucking milk that, won't he?
Yes, he will.
Fucking milk that. Yeah.
Yes, he will. And
like, listen,
he should.
Yeah. Like, listen, it's unfortunate. Like, but the thing is, like, as he said himself, he's done it once, he can do it again.
exactly.
Or I think he used the word "we" in there. We've done it once.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, so but like, listen, it's like, wrestling. Fucking people get hurt. Shit happens. It's unfortunate. I haven't spoken to him. I don't know if you have, Foxy, but I'm sure he's very content considering what happened on Saturday. Like, he's no fool. He's been around the business for a long time. He knows that this shit happens. It's unfortunate, but like, positive mental attitude and all that. Like, he had that moment. He done it on Saturday. Fuck it, I got injured. I relinquish. I'll come back stronger. You know, that's the attitude to deal with. In. We then got that big moment in Belfast. You know, we had Trent, Dries, and Damo in that match, and Damo doing something that he said that he was going to do probably 2 years ago at this rate, where he promised the Belfast crowd he would win the OTT Championship, and he would do it in Belfast. Do you remember that show, Foxy? We must be fucking 2 years ago.
Yeah, it'd be down.
Close to it, like, you know, and everyone was expecting him to win it before then. I think we had the Amari match, wasn't it? Amari and Damo in Belfast. Everyone thought he was going to do it then. We had the triple threat,
Sam and Trent.
Yeah.
Like,
there were so many opportunities, and it didn't happen from. So long term storytelling, folks. Like, fucking happened.
It is a real
2 years
thing.
later, like,
sometimes
you know,
unintentionally.
But like, it's great. It's great for Belfast to get that as well, because I think that's only the second time and that the belt has been, well, a champion has been crowned in Belfast. The first time was out of necessity as well. So there was always that kind of asterisk on it, because people were like, oh, well, they couldn't run in Dublin. They had to run in Belfast. And that's the only reason we got an OTT championship change. Not necessarily this time, you know, so... it was a hell of a match and great moment for the Belfast crowd. I think the right man won as well. The only person I thought would be the wrong man to win, in my opinion, would be Dries.
Yeah.
For no other reason bar, I think he needs a run to the championship.
Yes.
Yeah.
He needs that. He needs that Rocky montage before the big fight.
He needs a groundswell, groundswell of support.
So going back to Trent would have been okay as well, I think. Going to Damo,
the hate on Trent would have been fucking phenomenal. Like,
that's why I was kind of wanting it. I kind of wanted it.
Partly, but like still no.
Yeah, but the Reese, I think would have just been well done, Reese. You know, I don't think like he needs that big moment. He needs that run to the championship, big build. I'm gonna fucking do it and then get it. You know, that's what the Reese needs behind them. Like Damo having such a fucking star that Damo is as your champion as well is mega.
Yeah,
like that's mega.
That's a huge moment. Like, because going into the anniversary show as champion now, like, you know, who knows who he's going to face, like, but it's going to be a hell of a big match. Like, we've got. You know, the fact that you've got two current WWE stars coming into the show and a former WWE star as your champion, you know, and the fact that the tickets are probably already sold out of this as we speak. Like, so anybody who's going to the show is going to see one hell of it before they even advertise any matches. You know, you've got the big names. Like, nothing's been advertised other than we know.
The thing is as well with the show that it is. As I said, as far as I know, there's a Belfast show the day after. You could hold off on your OTT championship match. You don't even need an OTT championship match on the Saturday. Like, you could literally have the Judgment Day main event that show.
Yep.
Keep your OTT championship match and have your big OTT championship match on your Belfast card in front of the Belfast crowd. How do you sell it? Like, at the end of the day, right? There's gonna be some sourness in some fans, and I understand that there is, because the Judgment Day are in Dublin and they're not going to be in Belfast, right? So there is gonna be the old troop of. Dublin always get. Yeah, like they do. It's unfortunate. They have a stadium there that they fill 2,200 people in. You know, they can't get that in the Europa, and there's nowhere else that's feasible to do it in, due to cost. So the Europa is unfortunately the place that it is. Can only hold 450 people. So unfortunately, you're not going to get mega stars up there because you can't sell enough to cover the cost.
Exactly, it's not feasible.
But you have a massive champion there, former WWE superstar, that you could potentially bring in maybe not a mega star like the Judgment Day, but a big star for him to face in Belfast, potentially. Or we might see the return of Barry. We might see the return of Sam. We might see someone else pick up that mantle, because at the end of the day, it's still 2 months away. There's a few shows to go. I presume we're going to get a roll to the anniversary show some stage in September, maybe.
King and Queen is the end of September, isn't it?
Yes.
19th, is it? The 19th?
Like
29th?
28 and 29.
28th, yeah. So like the winner of that, the winner of that now could be the number one contender if they play it right.
Exactly. So.
Yeah.
And Martina needs an opponent as well. Like, so the fact that she wasn't in a match, defending her title over the weekend is something there as well for that show. But we'll get into that in a minute. Damo was supposed to have a match with Renzo for the NLW Championship. Obviously, that didn't happen. Danhausen beat Renzo for that title thanks to the help of Big Damo on Saturday in Dublin before everything went down in Belfast. What were your over thoughts of Renzo dropping the title on that night when he was advertised for that demo match? Was it the right decision to change the titles?
I don't know. I want to say that it made sense as a big surprise that you would do that, and sometimes that's what you need on a show. You don't need this big build up. You don't need it all the time. Like, I know some people argue it's like, you could have had a build up to this happening. It's like, no, like, he's had it long enough. It makes sense to do a switch just to surprise people at the very least. Plus, it adds that level of intrigue for the next show the next day. I mean, Danhausen is your NLW champion going into Belfast. Is he going to keep the belt? Or what's going to happen? So, yeah, like and then to have Damo be involved in it, it's like, yeah, that still sets the stage for down the line.
Yeah.
Like, you could have Renzo go after Damo now. Especially now with a big target on his back. Like, but I just, when I think back on that match from the Saturday, it's like my brain automatically thinks to the Ilya getting absolutely killed
dead
in the corner.
Dead. Mental. It's so bad.
Now I'm at the back, like at the stairs, like watching this happen, and I'm like, come on, turn around, and just suddenly
15 seconds.
Yep.
15. Go and watch it. Go and count it. 15 seconds.
Yep.
That's a
long fucking time.
Believe me, I had Renzo in my chat just like, I want to see this impeccable timing. Where's this impeccable timing? It's like we're counting it. It's like,
he was literally standing pretty much in front of me, and we're screaming at him, turn around, and he's standing there like, fucking turn around. And then bang, and you could literally see the head just whip.
$1 million baby. There you go.
My God. Like, he's dead.
And it was a full blown, like, he didn't hold back, like, he fucking necked it, like.
Well, one of the few times where I was like, Damo, you could have gone light on him. Holy crap.
No. No way.
Nope. Still, he's alive. He's okay.
Yeah. So Danhausen goes into Belfast as the NLW champion, and we get the 5-way with Martina Hausen or Sessionhausen, whatever she was calling herself. Mathhausen. I got it. Nearly got it. Dan Barry, Renzo inserts himself into the match, and the Sim. Colin, you were in attendance for this. Let us know what went down.
First off, was it this match? Dennis fucking announced a 5-way.
The day before.
Was it the day before?
He did. Well, he did it on this.
Oh, yeah, it was on this Sunday.
Before the match started.
Announced a 5-way instead of a 4-way, and then it turned into the 5-way. Mr. Murphy. We haven't words.
Believe me, this was something that Boss Man made a mistake on. So
Okay.
Boss
Yeah, it
Man
was just
made a
one of them.
mistake.
It was like
Yeah,
telegraphing it forward. Don't telegraph it. What are you giving it away for? Anyway, yeah. Listen, the match was what it was. It to be honest, I can't remember a hell of a lot about the match. It was a long weekend. I'll just say that much. It was a long weekend. It was a shitload of wrestling. It was also a week ago, and my brain has been fried this week. So I can't remember a hell of a lot about the match, apart from the finish. Really, the teeth. Sorry, I remember the teeth as well. But like, yeah, again, I'm gonna keep fucking harping on about this. I'm gonna keep saying that we're not gonna remember the match. We're gonna remember the moment, and this was one of them. Like I said it on fucking Twitter. I said, if you ask me, someone who has worked so hard and who was so deserving and who, like, you cannot look past the same. And nothing against Danhausen, but like, if Danhausen was a token gesture on Saturday, because I think that's what it was. Like, I think Sunday you have the crowning moment of someone who's worked their fucking arse off for so long to get that moment, and what a moment it was. Like, it was special, it was emotional, you could feel it. Like, you saw a bit of the same, the real person behind the Sam come out in that ring as well at the end, which is very rare. You don't see that a hell of a lot, and that made it that little bit more special. Pulled himself back together then fairly quickly to celebrate. But listen, what a fucking moment. I'll always remember, and I took a picture of it at the time, where he's on his knees and he's holding that belt and he's hugging it, and it was just magic. It was just magic. It was so well earned and deserved. I'm not going to say that it was given. I'm not going to say that it was gifted. It was fucking earned. It was earned really fucking hard. And I genuinely cannot think of a more deserving person. And just to go back a little bit, Renzo Rose's title reign as well, probably one of the best NLW championship reigns of the modern era, of like the after it stopped being the main title, like probably only challenged by Sammy D, I think. In that era, I think it was the second most defenses as well, and like he just did so well with that. And I think it's time for Renzo to like he's now ready to step up. So yeah, we do have, again, we have those things tying in together. We have the crowning moment of the Sam. We have Renzo losing it. Renzo going on to hopefully a bigger scale. And I kind of look at Renzo, and he's already kind of had them, but Renzo could potentially be that. Do you remember what Scotty Davis was a few years ago, Foxy, where he was getting all those big matches and it looked like he was being prepped for that next match? Or when Devlin was the import killer. That's how I see Renzo, like without a championship, and maybe getting to the championship that way. But yeah, I really looking forward to seeing like what Renzo can do without the championship and how he builds to the main event. And I'm also looking forward to seeing what the Sam is going to do with this championship. And even if it falls asunder, I'll always remember that moment in Belfast when he won it, and that it just how it felt. And it's that feeling and it's that moment that just makes it special.
Yeah.
It's pride, it's joy, it's all the good things that you can think of rolled into one moment, because especially when you know the person and know what they've gone through in order to get there. And like, he's such an absolute sweetheart. Like anytime I do see him, I do say hello, beautiful person, right? Because it just that's what he is to me. Like, he is a beautiful person, like just kind soul, and works his ass off. Like I've explained that, I think, on stream or to a few people, but like his character, like just from first glance, would, like, you would automatically kind of like, okay, bad guy, yeah, some other like clown gimmick, but no, like somehow he's been able to make you feel and understand what he is conveying through his body language and facial expressions without saying a goddamn word. You know how fucking hard that is to do. My God, like I have such an appreciation for that kind of level of subtlety and not so subtlety.
Like
Because
you got a tennis ball over.
yeah,
Like
he got
it's
bag over.
how many people can do that? Like, you know, like it's so difficult, and he's managed to do it, and it just shows that connection. He has that connection with the crowd.
Like,
It's like a silent actor. Like if you go back to Charlie Chaplin and people like that in the days, like they don't have to say a word. Like, but people, it's just body movements, facials. Even though he's got a face paint look, it's just his facial and his body language is just phenomenal. Like, and you just automatically, like you said, like you could say you could turn him heel in the morning and have him talk. And if he started talking in the morning, he would probably end up being a heel because it takes away from what we already know what the character is, which was nothing. We know nothing about his background. We know nothing about who he is because we don't get promos. But you're just automatically in love with whatever it is he's doing. So we started speaking, it might be like take away from everything that we love about him. So I hope he never. It's like The Simpsons, like Maggie. Like I hope he never says a word. Like he just stays silent. Maybe he does like a black and white fucking Charlie Chaplin style thing where they have what he's saying in different clips, like something like that. But never actually say a word.
It just like a good character can happen when when they pour themselves into a character where it's not, it doesn't become a character anymore. It's them.
Yeah.
It's just a different side of their personality, like, or a representation of a certain part of their personality. I mean, the actual person like has described this as being like a representation of bad things, like in like, because everyone has it. Everyone has bad things in their head, whether it be like depression, otherwise mental health, whatever. But again, this is his interpretation of a representation of it, and to convey it in a way that's so so inviting for people. Like people can relate to it if they understand, and even if you didn't understand, because the person is such a good soul, his genuine emotions get across with his body movements, and like I've nothing but good things to say about.
Alex said he's from someplace weird. Claire says she was overwhelmed at the end of the mission of Scrapper. She was so hyped and emotional. Colin and Sam were in front of her. She guess who gave her the biggest reassuring hug.
I wasn't fucking man
Definitely
anyway.
wasn't you, Colin. Uranus also talks about Danhausen winning the belt was actually madness. He couldn't fucking believe it. Like somebody else who won the belt on Saturday was Golden Boy Santos won the GN championship, which is another massive moment, another emotional moment.
Perfect.
Fox, you handed him the belt. You could probably see the tears in his eyes, as close as anybody. Like, how was that for you, seeing his emotion come through when you handed him the belt?
One of the best things that about the job that I do is the fact that I see everyone's journey. I'm there for them when they start their journey. I'm there for them when they make their milestone like accomplishments. So, and because I work with them a good bit, like I get to know them, and I feel just as much joy for them in achieving what they're trying to set out to do.
Yeah.
It's like, so for moments like that, like it's hard not to be emotional. Like I still find it madness because I had said it to him that you showing your emotion allows you to endear yourself to a crowd. And it means that people can get behind you more because they know, right, this is how they feel in this moment about this. And the madness about it is that, like, he was told, as a big man, I shouldn't be doing that. Like, I was told I shouldn't do that. It's like, well, they're lying to you, because this is like it, it's like building blocks, like allowing yourself to be vulnerable. It makes it easier for people to get where you're coming from. Whether that be heel or face, it can also represent what you're trying to convey. If you're doing it in full on character or otherwise, but your genuine emotion, the more that shows true, the easier it is for people to either say, yes, I want to support him, no, I want to boo him. Like, it just, so. But for Santos, like, my God, like, again, another person that always happy to have in the locker room, always happy to have around. He's such a nice person. And again, has amazing work ethic. Like, just like with the Sam, just you want nothing but good things to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that he is being, his dedication has been rewarded, and now he gets to show what he can do going forward. Like,
he's really taken off since he came to the OTT. Like at the Contender show we were at there last year. Like since then, like he's outside of Ireland, like he's gotten a lot of attention. Like obviously he trained over in Germany under like people like Killer Kelly and Axel Teicher and people like that. But he's going to Rev Pro. He's getting onto all their regular shows now. Like so outside of just Ireland, like he's after he's starting to take off. So
yeah.
He's probably still learning a lot of stuff in the business, like, but the fact that they're able to put that title on him now, there's trust in him. They hold that title, for what he's done in the short period of time that he's been in Irish wrestling is a testament to what Joe actually thinks of him and what people in the crowd think of him.
Look, it takes one person just take a punt on you. It just takes one person to give you an opportunity and a chance, and I think that's what it was for Santos. I think Santos was trying to find his feet, find his place, and I think, I'm not sure if this is the case. I probably need to research it, but as far as I'm aware, like OTT took that chance on him and put him onto their shows, and then the rest fell into place, like and that's what's opened up doors. Listen, you look at the guy. You have this old adage of like, did he look like a wrestler? Like you look at Santos and you're like of course he fucking does.
If you've seen him during the day, you definitely fucking because he walked into the stadium full on like 3-piece suit and a fucking suitcase. I'm like, this dude's a wrestler. Like, goddamn, like
he does. Like he has the look down. And I think that this championship win is the perfect building block that he needs at this stage. He's still very early in his wrestling journey, and even like I've even heard it like, oh, like you should be the OTT champion or you should be in the main event and all. And like Foxy will probably attest to this. Like you can be pushed too soon, and it can fucking kill you. It can kill you in a number of ways because you're probably not ready. You're not able to be in that position. It can fucking kill your confidence. Like
it's
it can
a mental battle that like just can just destroy you. Like not only that, like what you said, it's just if you were pushed to the moon right out of the get-go, like when you're still relatively new, that can also mess with your attitude as well. Because you will either look at it as great, I'm like they're giving me this push, I'm working with different people, like this could be good. Or you could turn around and be like, right, I'm getting pushed, like I don't know if I'm up for this. You're like, you start getting in your own head and just it'll destroy you, because then you'd be like, no, I don't want this now, like I'm not ready. But because like you're being put into this position, you don't want to say no in case it doesn't happen again. So you're caught in that weird loop where you're doomed if you do, doomed if you don't.
And we've seen it happening to people, Foxy, as well. People who aren't around anymore. That stuff has happened to, where they've gotten into the position and then they probably got into their own heads and they're like, I can't do this, and have run away from it. And it probably is because it's like they're not ready for it. Like they're not ready for it. Not that they're not able for it; they might not be able for it as well. But like that, they're not mentally able for it at that stage as well. And I think that's what I mean. That the GN Championship is perfect for Santos because, like, he looks like a champion. He holds himself as a champion. You see him, and you're like, that fella's like, it's only a matter of time for someone like this. But that's what it's gonna take. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take the time to let him scale up and level up slowly until he gets to the stage where he's able to take that leap into a big championship. And like, I think it's a case, no one I think is ever fully ready.
No.
Like you're never ready. Like you're
No.
like Jordan Devlin probably wasn't ready when he won his first big OTT championship. He probably wasn't ready when he went over to NXT and when he got drafted to Raw, and now he's the fucking tag team champion, and he's probably sitting there going, how the like, I can't fucking believe like what's happening to me, and I was wrestling in Ireland only fucking 3 years ago, like, you know. And now here I am every Monday night, you know. So I don't think anyone is ever going to be ready. So there's always going to be that leap at some stage that you're going to have to take. But like, I think taking it from a closer distance because you're after climbing up that little bit, you know, is definitely the way to go. And I think this is it for Santos. Santos is going to be able to use this belt, and he's going to get some good matches with it, and we're going to be able to see what he can do, and then hopefully level up as well. He's also been doing a lot on Rev Pro as well, you know.
Alex is saying there, Celine getting her match for the belt when?
just get over it, like just get out. Like it's over, it's done. Celine's like it's been done. Like, do you want to see Celine get killed essentially as well? Yeah. Like, do you actually want to see Celine go in there with Santos, because like he probably weighs 10 times more than her, and he probably eat her.
Like it's with the likes that. So I kind of partly agree with Uranus on the comment. It's like, to make the GM belt a proper series belt, you don't necessarily have to make it a serious belt. Like, the belt can be whatever it needs to be. Like, that's the beauty of the GN belt. Like, men have had it, ladies have had it, like and everyone.
It was fucking won in Brazil as well.
Yeah, like if Be Cool's to be believed.
Are you saying you don't believe him?
I will neither confirm nor deny.
But Be Cool. Did Be Cool ever win the NLW title?
No.
He's not he didn't. That wasn't his.
No, he skipped the queue on that one. Yeah. He leapfrogged that.
Foxy's saying that he doesn't believe that he ever won the GN title either.
So, but which actually is a weird thing, because like if Barry does win the NLW, he is a Grand Slam as well.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, which is crazy. So like that, the fact that Sam is the only one to do it so far, but I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility. Like, if down the line, like, Barry could go for that. Like, but I'd also like to see if I'd like to see more people get a chance mixing it up in different scenarios. So like, what is out of the realm of possibility for a intergender tag team to actually go for the tag belts down the line? You never know. Like, stranger things have happened in wrestling, folks. Like, it's not a brand new idea or a foreign concept. Like, this does happen out there. So it's just that it hasn't really happened over here. Yeah.
As they're talking about the tag belts, they were the only ones that didn't change hands over the weekend. Were you surprised that the freshness didn't?
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. I was surprised, but I wasn't at the same time. So I knew once I seen the lads with new gear, I was like, oh no, they're keeping the belts. I was like, they're keeping those belts.
They were Eddie Guerrero inspired, is that right? Was that?
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. And they're fucking beautiful.
Lovely.
Ah. Very fitting for the social elite. Like, but,
and if it is them and if it is them and the Judgment Day at the anniversary, the gear is going to look immense up against the two lads.
Yep.
It's the white dark as well, isn't it? Like, so.
Yeah. But you also
What?
have like BDE had brand new gear as well for the show as well. It's I know Josh put up like the inspiration was actually an anime character.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yes, because I'm a fan of that anime, and I'm like, yes, I know that character, and that's brilliant. I love it. I love it. I love seeing like influences, like your actual like real life interests influence the gear that you wear. It does
Yeah.
be amazing to see. So plus,
Where do you,
I'm a sucker because I don't get to fucking change into different gear every few months. I have the same fucking stuff every month. So
before we talk about what happened with BD and the lads, where do the freshness go from here now? What happens? Are they going to
record
jump into the
label?
music
I don't know.
music industry?
Like
Or
I spoke about this on our previews, right? So I did say that match was the most 50-50 match going into it for me. I did see, I don't know, like, fucking call me a lawyer if you want to go back and watch it. I did see Social Elite coming out on top, and I'll tell you why, and I'll tell you what my reasons were that I stated on the show. Freshness had their eye off the ball coming into it. Weren't looking at it as a big championship match. They were too busy with fucking singing a song, music, all that kind of shit. That was kind of a bit of a telltale sign. Social Elite was always on the prize. We're the best team in Europe. We're going to prove it. A scrapper. Also, from a real side, the freshness. The Freshness are a great team. We've seen them have some banger matches. That match with Subculture will still always stay with me as probably one of the best tag team matches I think I've ever seen in OTT. It was just phenomenal. But I don't think they need to be a tag team. That's what I think with that team. I don't think they need to be a tag team. I think both guys are very good at singles as well. And I think they could very easily split and go on separate journeys as singles and be super successful.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that, and I'm not saying that Socially aren't the same, I just think that they're doing more for each other at the moment. We spoke about this 20 times before, that we have a rejuvenated Sean Max Guinness.
Yep.
Sean Max Guinness that we probably haven't seen in a long time. And we think that like Matthew probably brings a lot of that out in him. And then we also have Matthew, who, again, let's not forget, he's relatively new still. Or I sound relatively new, like he's like 4 or 5 years or whatever it is since he started training. But like he has the experienced veteran there, taking him under the wing, guiding him. And I think what's the saying that the fucking I can't think of it. The sum of the parts is greater than the individuals or whatever. That I think that the team together is bigger than either two as individuals. And I think that they do so much for each other. I think that they need each other at this moment. And I think that there is going to be a time where Matthew is going to have to break away and go his own separate way as well. What Sean decides to do, again, let's remember Sean's 20 plus years. We've seen his mates around him that he has started with and come up with and been in and around it for a long time have started to retire. I'm sure it's on his mind as well how long he potentially has left. So at some stage, Matthew's going to have to go on his own or find another teammate or whatever. But I think for now, I think that they're the solid team. I think, in my opinion, they are the best tag team in Ireland at the moment. And that's why I saw them coming through Scrapper as the champions. But I wouldn't have been surprised had the Freshness got it. But I do think that the boat was missed with the Freshness. That if they were going to do it, it should have been a year ago.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's absolutely fair. Like, looking at Claire's message there, like Fabio Martin are amazing, like in singles matches. I do love them together though. I would miss the Freshness if they split. Now, again, like it's not uncommon for like a faction or a group to just go their separate ways amicably.
Yeah.
Instead of having to split, like it's you can still be a faction, but it's a faction of singles wrestlers as opposed to tag wrestlers. Like it's not uncommon.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised nowhere else really does that. that concept. But no, like you were completely right. Like Fabio Martin, like we've seen them in Fight Factory, we've seen them in OTT, we've seen them like around Europe, like just absolutely kill it as singles wrestlers, which is unreal to see. Like they're just stupidly talented, like obscenely talented, and like again, you could definitely see that. Matthew Bullet Smith, like you can definitely see that as well in his future being a breakout single star.
He's leveled up so much.
Yeah.
Every time I see him,
absolutely.
he's just like
and
getting so much better.
Having him with a Shawn Maxer, like gives him that edge where he's learning from, like what you said, Colin. Like he has a veteran that's taking him under his wing to guide him along, show him the ins and outs, but also help him grow. Like it's just, and it just so happens that it benefits like Maxer, where he's now rejuvenated and we see him more so on the ball, like about when he's in there. Like his wrestling ability was never in doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But like this is where you see him focused. Like,
let's call a spade here as well, Foxy. He like there was a stage there that we were like, what Max are we gonna get? You know, like if we did, like was he gonna be like driven and clued in? And I think that might have been a thing that like he'd been in it for so long, and I was like, okay, am I giving it 100% anymore?
What do I do now?
You know, so it was like, are we gonna get the best Shawn Maxer Guinness we've ever seen? Or are we going to get Shawn Maxer Guinness, who we know is a great wrestler and will easily go out there and put on a good match? But he's probably not giving it 100%. You know, where I think that's where we're seeing a lot more of that now. And I think we're seeing a rejuvenation. And to be honest, from talking to him and from being around him, he seems to be enjoying himself.
Yeah.
You know, which is like half the battle. If you're enjoying yourself, you're going to be going out there and you're going to be doing better stuff.
And it comes across as well. It again goes back to what I said. Like when your real emotion is coming out there, like the crowd see it, and that helps them enjoy it a lot more. So like, if you see that like Maxer is like enjoying himself in the ring, chances are you're going to enjoy the match more because like he's putting his all in it. Like so, but yeah, we talk about the best tag teams in our own, kind of.
Not your favorite, Martin. Anyway, definitely not.
We'll
talk about another the freshness. I think is it?
Is it? We did. So. We talked about them. We talked about them. We talked about Social League, and I briefly touched on BDE.
Yeah. So just while we're on the subject of tag teams and BDE, they lost another big match in the stadium. This time to the lads from the Flats with a little help from somebody in a box, somebody dressed up as a referee, and a referee on a unidentified white powdered substance, who went on a rampage and had a few people, had a few stunners, and had a banger, not a banger match, but an actual banger in the middle of the ring.
Have you seen you've seen that film Cocaine Bear?
Yeah, yeah.
The sequel is Cocaine Fox.
I don't remember what you're talking
about. We saw the trailer on Saturday.
I deny. I neither confirm nor deny said allegations that are being brought against me. So it's like,
it was a great.
We have the footage. It's like
great throwback.
That's CGI. You didn't know that. That's just cutting edge CGI. That's all it is.
It was something. It was some sort of special moment, though, wasn't it? Whenever that happened,
I was a bit aggrieved, though, right? Foxy clearly had a heart attack in the middle of the ring, and no one went and checked on him.
I was shouting at somebody, no CPR in the back.
No one went to check on him. Like the fella's literally after like downing in the ring, holding his heart. No one gave a fuck.
No. So if I ever have a real fucking heart attack in the ring, nobody's gonna go near me.
No. So and we're all gonna think that it's like
that
kayfabe. Like.
That happened to Tommy Cooper, didn't it? The comedian in the 70s. He did that as well. He had a heart attack on stage and everybody thought it was part of the act.
Yeah.
And he just laid dead on the stage and nobody knew what to do.
Like, yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen.
As I told Michael, it was an energy drink, but with energy powder. There was a lot of fucking energy in that bag, yeah? A lot of energy, I'd say.
Pre-workout, wasn't it? It was pre-workout, something.
Yeah, it's that, like, yeah.
So the thing is, right, Foxy, when he went to the ground, he was facing away from me, right? And I usually like when he's facing towards me because I can usually see his face and see his eyes, and it usually tells me a lot about what he's actually thinking at the time. And I can guarantee you, after doing that spot, he was just lying on the ground, bollocksed,
Oh yeah.
absolutely gassed, huffing in a lot of air. And I was like, oh, I'd love to see his face right now.
I'm not joking. So like, when I was down, Martina, like, she comes out and she gives me a shake. She's like, "You all right?" It's like, gassed. Like, I'm fucking gassed.
I
Like,
fucking knew it.
Yeah,
but that's not a surprise. Like, I'm not. I don't do these running spots. Like, I'm not meant to do it. I can do it, but like, that's why you see me. The next time you see me come out like for a match, I'm still holding my heart because I'm like, I'm still fucking like gassed from like earlier.
when you had JB with the stunner, JB come out of the ring and
brilliant! I seen the footage.
His foot was like this close to Liz's face. It went right down in front of her. She was like, "Oh fuck!" You can hear her screaming in the background. It was fucking crazy though.
Great,
so funny.
It's a great moment, great throwback.
Yeah, that's what it needed to be. Like, it just had to be fun. Like, although I did find the funny is like, right, I'm G'ing up for a dive, and nobody fucking moves.
Yeah, what's going on?
This fucker ain't diving. Fuck, I'm not moving. Like, like, well, we'll remember that next time. Like, I'll do that, and you won't move, and I'll actually do the dive, and then you regret it. So, like, you can't say that I didn't warn you. It's like, move several times. Nope. Boom. Out you go.
I don't think it was the worst match of the night. What do you think of the placement of matches? Like, other than they obviously pre-announced that BD would start the show.
So you have the post-interval match is probably the hardest spot to fill, and it's the popcorn match. It's the get the people back to their seats match.
Yeah.
And someone has to fill it. And unfortunately, on the likes of a stadium show where every match is a big match, someone's going to have to eat shit.
Someone gets the short straw.
Yeah, and that it's just unfortunate. And like, usually when in your lower kind of card types, you can kind of put a filler match on, or you can put a lesser known match on in that spot. But like, yeah, it is like, it's about like the music hits and people are at the bar and they're like, oh, get me drink and then head back to me seat, and you're like, you don't care if you miss the first 5 minutes, and that's
like, if anything, like, I would have switched Robbie X and Speedball to that position, because that would have made sense after intermission to do a money match where it's high octane action. Boom, get people energies back up. Like, that would have been my only switch up. Like, now that's like, but that's me approaching it like after the fact.
I think looking at results and card planning, I think if you put that match in there, though, you have 3 matches back to back that you want the crowd to be here for.
Yeah.
But you need to have that.
Again, you need a wave of like up and down. So
I think that the social elite winning brings the crowd down due to the results.
But
and
the other 2 matches
Barry coming out and announcing his partners brings them back up again. And without that dip, you don't feel the high isn't as big.
Exactly.
So if you're on a high and then that happens, you're already on a high and it might not feel as special. Whereas if you get that dip beforehand and then you come back up from it, then you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the only thing I agree with on that terrible cage match review is that the freshness and socially were on too late. Now, it's just, now I've seen the review and it's just like, calling it like one of not necessarily the best show ever. It's like, okay, that's, you're allowed to have your opinions on things, but like, I think some parts of that review is a bit unfair.
They prefaced it by saying that they haven't been at a show in years. So I think if you're reading into it that you're gonna take their opinion on things as gospel, which a lot of people seem to be doing, that I'm seeing people commenting on. They prefaced it by saying that they haven't been at a show in years. They don't know the ins and outs. They don't know the threads that are running into it. They made a lot of assumptions based on one show and being at that one show, which is fine for them in that position. But if you're looking at it as a fan who goes to every show and you're reading that and you're getting pissed off about it because someone is saying something that you don't agree with, like, why are you even paying any mind to it? Like, it's someone's opinion on a shitty wrestling site that no one actually gives opinions on that site. Like, no one actually uses it at all. So, like, why even bother reading it and paying it any mind?
I think it's a bit. It was a bit unfair, but like still, again, they're expressing their opinions and they're allowed to have that. So like, I don't dwell on it the way some people do.
Yeah,
like, we got a laugh out of it.
Yeah, we won't dwell on it. We'll get into the speedball and Robbie X and what the weekend speedball had anyway. Like, but Claire's just following up there for you there, telling random people in the playground.
Random mammy in the playground yesterday about Foxy doing stunners. Poor woman was like, What the hell is this?
Some poor woman in the playground going, who the fuck is Foxy and what the fuck is a stunner?
Imagine Michael just turns around. I'll show you. Bang! Fucking, instead of an RKO,
wouldn't ever put it past the kid.
Catching kids off the slide with RKOs.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm waiting.
Sorry, we need to be careful because he could very well be watching at the moment, so we don't want to give him ideas.
Do not
Michael,
do that to the kids, Michael. Do not.
Michael, you have my permission to go to the playground and catch kids coming off a slide with RKOs. Don't mind what your mammy tells you. You go and do it. If she's sitting beside you, like, just give her an RKO right now, like, just down nowhere, grab her by the head, boom.
So we mentioned Speedball Mike Bailey there. So he had an amazing weekend. Obviously, he had that 3-on-3 match into the trio match in Wolverhampton. He had a match with Robbie X on Saturday, and he had that match with Terry Thatcher on Sunday. Hell of a weekend for the X Division champion. Hell of a weekend for him to be over, like, just fresh from winning the X Division title, and then putting on, three. Well, you can count 4 matches if you count the 2 in Wolverhampton, because he technically had 2 matches in Wolverhampton. So, what did you think of the shift that Speedball put in for OTT this weekend?
Yeah, like, definitely, like, he definitely put the shift in. Worked, I want to say 3 different matches, but the Speedball is strange because, like, he works at a strange tempo, but a lot of he still somehow knows where to put his greatest hits in. While I can appreciate him and Robbie X, all the high flying, I think it's a lot. It's a lot to take in for that match. Whereas his match with Thatcher is a different story entirely.
Yeah,
it's a different dynamic. Like, while we know Terry can, like, he can do some high flying when he really needs to, but he's more ground based now, and it makes for a different dynamic, but intriguing, like story going into it. Like, he has a chip on the shoulder, and he has to prove that he make sure people don't fucking remember him.
Yeah,
like,
he should have been on the stadium. He's telling people this is why he should have been on the stadium shows, or why he should be on more shows. Like, proving it by having the match of the fucking weekend.
Suppose I'll go steal the weekend then.
Yeah,
like, and sure enough, like, him and Speedball nearly did. Like, very fucking good match, good back and forth, great tempo, a great exhibition of how good Terry can be. For anyone who's just gone to OTT and not necessarily seen him in the likes of Hard Knocks or Fight Factory, where he does showcase this a lot more. But still, like, amazing to see. But it also begs the question, where does Terry go from here?
Yeah, 10-year anniversary. Like, how long's he been in the game? Like, was he around?
He's around
early days,
19 years.
of the first. Was he on? Was he on the first OTT show?
No, I probably wasn't
No.
allowed.
First show, no, I don't think so. No, he wasn't on the first show.
No, he wasn't. He came in with
He did a particular
that gimmick.
he did
Remember
the
that?
Daniel
Remember-
Radcliffe gimmick. And if you got that reference, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Wasn't his best look. Wasn't
No.
his best look. It doesn't play very well. Looking back.
Yeah.
Was edgy as fuck though.
Couldn't get away with it now.
No.
But still, wasn't necessarily him.
No.
But yeah, Terry's been around, 19 years, and the only reason I know this is because he's a year ahead of me. So, so long ass time to be involved in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like
so like
souls.
he's obviously earned a spot. Like, you know, after that match, do you think he's earned it? You know, they can, you know, in the conversation for a spot on the anniversary show.
You can't ignore him. You can't ignore him after a weekend like that, after a match like that. Like Speedball came over and did he imported the weekend, in my opinion. Even though we had Nemeth on the card, I think Speedball just went above and beyond everybody else. I think he's really shown why he's one of the best in the world at the moment. The match with Robbie was exceptional. The match on Wolves was brilliant. The match with Robbie was exceptional. Different match in Belfast. Similar match, but different, where it was the match in Belfast was the match that I actually wanted to see happen in the stadium. But Robbie, I don't think far from underneath enough, where that's what you get with Thatcher. You get that underdog story. You get the guy who's going to take the beating and continue to take the beating and still fucking get up from it, you know. And that's Terry Thatcher in a nutshell. He doesn't have the biggest brain because he keeps fucking getting up for more punishment, but he has the biggest heart, you know. And I think that's the way it is, regardless of where he is, and that's the story that gets told. And I'm actually surprised how long they got as well. I didn't think that they'd get as much time. Obviously, some of the changes to the card enabled that to happen because there was a cut in matches. And I think he put on probably arguably the best match of the weekend. I'd have to watch them all back again. I haven't watched Dublin again, and I haven't watched Belfast again, so I'd have to watch them back before making that decision. But off the top of my head right now, having watched Wolves and been at the other two, I think Thatcher and Speedball stole the weekend as match of the weekend. And I think on that basis, how can you not have something for Terry Thatcher going forward? You know, so the thing is, from Thatcher's side, is he now has to deliver.
Yep.
And there's no doubt in my mind that he can.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of give him the opportunity, give him the matches, and
give him a chance at King of the Ring, prove himself. You know, there's an option.
Listen, he doesn't need to prove himself. I think that's very unfair. I think he's proved himself, as Foxy said, 19 years. He's been on many stadium shows as it is. He's been an LW champion twice. He's never had the big one. I don't know if he will. I'd like to see him get a run. But I think leaving him off your show is a mistake. He's been in plenty of stadiums, especially recently. He's been in a few of those multi-mans, kind of throwaway multi-man matches.
So it doesn't really give him a chance to showcase.
I think I want to see him have a bit of substance.
Yeah,
you know, give him something to get his teeth into a bit, because that's when he's best. Give him something to grip into. He'll always go out and he'll always do a job. You know, he's exceptional. But give him something to get his teeth into, and
Then magic
he's
happens.
yeah, he's one of these people that we spoke about. There's not enough people going out there and recording a promo every week. You know, like he's happily pick up the phone and stick it on record and mouth off into the camera, and good, bad, or indifferent, he will do it. You know, and that's what everyone should be doing 2-3 times a week, and see if any of them are decent enough to put out there. You know, and he's ready, willing, and able to do that. And it's just, I hope that the powers that be looked at the weekend and said, okay, right, let's give him another go, because he's earned it over his years of experience, and I think he deserves it. And that match on Sunday says, like, you can't look past him anymore. You can't ignore him.
Somebody else who had a match on Sunday was Scott Davis, as the poster said, with Luke Frehill. Chainsaw Luke Frehill getting his main roster debut. What were your thoughts on maybe Scotty Davis also looking for a place on the 10th anniversary, or looking for a shot in the stadium?
Like, I will never deny Scotty's ability. I'll never ever do that, like, because it just, dude is just a natural fucking athlete. Like, he's a former Irish and British fucking amateur wrestling champion, like multi-time. He's also a multi-time champion in OTT and other promotions. Like, it's like, dude has a fucking pedigree in terms of like how good he is. In recent months, not a lot has been, like, hasn't really been a lot there for him. So I mean, like, who else can you really put him against? And he had his shot with RVD in the stadium. He's had Jushin von der Liger in the stadium. So who do you give him? Like, him and Thatcher have had matches before, and they have great chemistry together. But would that be stadium worthy? I think not. I feel that, like, it'd be a disservice to both of them if they were to go against each other. In a stadium, because that's just basically like, right, I need to give you a shot. I need to give you a shot. So, fuck it, I'll put you against each other on a stadium. No, it's not. No, it's been done several times, like, in OTT's history. So you can only beat the horse a couple times, like, before it's gone. But I don't know who you'd put him against. But I in regards to the weekend, though, like, it was great to have him there, a really experienced head to guide one of the new up and comers in Luke Frell, who's, like, been killing it at the gym, like, actually, like, just getting himself into shape, training like a madman. And I know, like, to be honest, it's a good litmus test to see where he'd stand by being put against Scotty.
Yeah.
And he did really well.
He did. He shined, didn't he? It wasn't like it could have been easily just been a squash match the way Corvin and CJ had their match in Belfast, but this was, Frehill. I thought he really shined in this match. He got a lot of offense against Scotty.
Good exhibition. Great way to show, like, okay, this is where you can be, and if you can do that against the likes of Scotty, like, who can run circles around you, like, so Brattle had a fucking great showing, and I'm excited to see where he goes from here.
Yeah.
So
Scotty Davis is one of the most naturally gifted, talented wrestlers in Ireland, and probably has been for the last 10 years. The problem is now is I think he's lost his way a little bit. I think this COVID shit set him back, and there's nothing. We've done the throwaway matches. We've done the throwaway matches with the big names. We've done the Liger, the Osprey, the RVD. The thing that we haven't had with Scotty, and I think we were only getting it just before COVID, was a bit of substance of storyline and who is this guy. And I think that's what we need to get back to. I think that's what he needs to be pushing for, because there's no doubt that he can wrestle. There's no doubt that he can go. He doesn't need matches. He needs story. He
Yeah.
needs substance. He needs promo. He needs time in front of a camera.
Yep.
We were kind of getting that. I'm not sure if you can remember, Foxy, the OJMO, Amari, Callum Black, Scotty Davis thing that we had just before COVID.
Yeah.
That was something that was really intriguing, and I think was going to bring all those young lads out of their shells a bit more and let them get their teeth into something. Like what I said with Thatcher, he needs something to get his teeth into. Like, he doesn't need a match. He doesn't. He doesn't just need a match. He needs a camera put in his face. He needs a microphone in his hand. He needs a promo. He needs a story. Like, that's what's missing. And without that, it's just going to be Scotty Davis, a great wrestler. But, like, when was the last time he had a big storyline? You know, because I can't remember the last big storyline that he had. They tried to do that thing with Amari and Jay Money. I don't think it kind of worked. And he's too good not to be on shows, but he needs something. He needs something to get him there.
Yep.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Luke Frettel absolutely killed it. Massive setbacks for him throughout his very young journey so far. And he's overcome them, and he's got his debut, and props to the man. Worked ring crew on Saturday as well, so which shows me a lot about his character and who he is as a person, because he could have easily turned around on Saturday and said, no, I'm not working crew, I'm on the show on Sunday, why would I sit at the ring on Saturday? He's a hard worker, he's a grafter, and he smashed it out of the park in Belfast. Scotty had a great match with him. The only thing that he did wrong, Frettel, was he fucking left the ring at the end of the match, and I was screaming at him not to leave the ring, because Scotty left the ring to give him a moment, and Luke got out of the ring straight after him. It's like fucking stay there. The crowd is fucking waiting to applaud your performance. Don't get out of the ring. Stay in the ring. Take the ovation. But I understand he's very green. He was probably in his own head and just wanted to get the fuck out of there at that stage. But yeah, Luke, if you see this, stay in the fucking ring. Take your ovation. The crowd wanted to give it to you. But yeah, the two of them, like, there's no doubt in Scotty Davis. There isn't.
Yeah.
He's one of my favourite wrestlers. He has been. I've been a firm advocate for him for years. I just want to see something. Like, I want to see him. If there's nothing there to be given to him, fucking take it. You know, like, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see from Scotty.
Yeah. Lastly, on the Belfast show, we'll touch on LJ and Kane Noonan opening the show before we get on the LJ and Nick Nemeth on the Saturday. What was your thoughts on the present, the future, as they're calling themselves, probably the LJ's last match? As I don't know if he's going to be around for much longer. Every time we talk about LJ, we're like, is this going to be the last time we're going to see him?
I think LJ is someone who I don't see him just fucking riding off into the sunset.
Yeah.
You know, I think that if he's having a last match, it will be he'll have a last match, like, and we'll know about it. You know, like with the Keith Lee. Do you remember the Keith Lee match, Foxy? Like, everyone fucking knew the writing was on the wall. I think he'll have that match. I think LJ said it best at the end of the match that he's been looking for who's going to take his place, who's there to take his place, who's there to be the standard bearer. And I think we all see it, like, in Kane Noonan. You know, Kane had a great match with him, but I think the match was more than just a match. I think it was very much a like what could be. I think it was more about the subplot rather than the plot of the match, if that makes sense. I I think Kane Noonan is a superstar. I think he is so gifted. His passion is unparalleled. If you've ever spoken to him for more than 10 minutes, you will understand how big of a wrestling fan he is. He's a fucking wrestling nerd. Like, he knows fucking everything. He's watched everything. He talking to me about fucking shit from the 80s. You know, before he was born, and he's just like, he's studied it. He studied it his whole life. It's his passion, and you can tell that in him. And I think it's a matter of if not when with Kane. You know, and the next few years are going to be. I'm so excited for the next few years of what Kane Noonan is going to do. And yeah, like, looking at him right now, like, I'm literally tagging him as future OTT champion. Like, he has like that ability to get there and go and fucking take the world by storm if he wants. He's so gifted, he's so talented, he's so passionate. He's gonna do fucking wonders. And yeah, the subplot of the LJ match was like, who's gonna step up and take my place, and I think it was in Kane Noonan. So yeah, that's what I thought about that. The match was good. They had a very good match, but I think it was more than just a match. If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's like I'm not going to say it's passing of the torch, but it's, you know, in along the lines of, this is rubbing shoulders with someone on the LJ level for Kane, like, to
give him a bit of a rub,
to the next level. Yeah,
it's an acknowledgement of, right, we see you, and we've been seeing you, but we see big things for you down the line. Keep working and doing what you're doing, because you're on the right path already. You're already ridiculously talented. Like, so if you're like this now, give you a couple years, you'll be a fucking monster. Like, but
like, he could definitely be like, he could be that guy that LJ is. He could be the person that's called upon to have that match with Matt Cardona and Nick Nemeth. He should be looking at this as, I'm gonna keep working, keep doing what I'm doing, keep leveling up, and in a few years, those matches are there for me, because he will be that guy.
Yeah, and getting the chance to go with LJ after he had a match with Nick Nemeth, like, you know, all eyes are on LJ, like, after what Nick said about him after the match. So having Kane to be his first opponent after having a match with Nick Nemeth, you know, people are going to be taking notice of him as well. While you know, people are scouting LJ for, you know, bigger things. They're like, oh, who's this kid? Like, you know, and there's Kane
the fact that
getting the
LJ
rub.
is endorsing him as well.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like, yeah, Grant, right? This is someone we should keep an eye on. If we like LJ, like, if I'm someone from like a different country and I'm getting really into LJ, like, and I'm thinking like, right, he's someone that I should keep an eye on. If he's endorsing someone, maybe I should actually keep an eye on this person. Fucking Simon Hill, holy shit!
Simon's
how
in
are
the
you?
chat.
Yeah, I think
Simon, if you want.
I think with the other thing to say is that like, it was a student coach match as well.
Yep.
You know, so it also has that side of things, that LJ is also one of Kane's coaches in the School of Horse Wrestling.
Yeah.
So there was that aspect to it. There's also the aspect of a match that, like, we expect LJ to go on and do great things, and we signed for a major company. He's already signed for Noah. Like, he's probably going to go bigger than that in the next few years. So there is also that kind of, we saw it with LJ, where he had a match with Jordan Devlin a few years ago, and now he's looking at Jordan Devlin saying, "Oh, he's Raw Tag Team Champion, and I had a match with him a few years ago." You know, and Kane can take solace in looking at that now in a few years, when LJ is fucking headlining WrestleMania or All Out or fucking Wrestle Kingdom or wherever he is, you know, and be looking at it saying, "I had a singles match with him in Belfast in 2024." You know, so there's also that side of things, you know, so. Multifaceted, multi-layered type of match that it definitely was telling in what is to come.
True.
Yeah, and like we had Nick Nemeth. Obviously, we have to talk about LJ and Nick Nemeth's match on Saturday. But Nick, he was on. He was over. It was probably a big get for OTT to get Nick Nemeth over.
Huge,
Again,
huge.
like Speedball, he had just won the TNA championship.
Yeah,
Obviously, the title wasn't on the line at the weekend, but it was massive to get him over.
yeah.
What were your thoughts on like getting somebody like him for this show?
It's crazy because like okay, we we were getting Nick Nemeth, and that was big deal as it was. Like, cause former WWE lad, like, spent like what the better part of 20 years there, and like at a top level, and to see that like right since his release, he's gone on to the Indies and just he's not taking a handy. He's going out there to
Yeah,
show why he was there for so long, like with all his experience. But then to have him win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, that adds another wrinkle to the booking. It's like, oh my God, is he going to bring the belt? Is he going to do this? Is it going to be defended? Who knows? Like again, it adds that intrigue for the match.
yeah,
But to even to even see him bring out the belt is a big deal in itself. Like that, like the TNA World Heavyweight Champion was on an OTT show, like in Wolverhampton and in Dublin, and like it's crazy to think that.
yeah.
Like,
And Simon has joined the chat. Simon was over commentating. Simon, welcome to the show. You're
Oh,
coming at
Simon.
the right time.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. I apologise, my camera's not on. I've not long got from the gym. Hopefully, you can hear me, and I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
not look like I do at the OTT shows at the moment.
you don't have to get suited and booted. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go and put on the three-piece suits. How is everyone doing?
Good,
Doing
good.
good.
Go on,
Doing
mate.
good.
We were just talking about getting Nick Nemeth over for the shows. What was it like for yourselves in Wolverhampton to have someone like that on the card?
Oh, unreal, man. Like, and he's such a nice guy too. Like, he was really polite, really professional. But, after the show, it was kind of a celebration. I mean, you guys have all been there, and Foxy, you've been backstage as well. When we've finished those shows, it's kind of a bit of a emotional pride. And Nick Nemeth kind of joined in with that as well. So it was really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, he put on a hell of a show, man. I mean, look, he's a pro, isn't he? He's been around 20 years or whatever it is.
Like,
Yeah. But it seemed to be a massive thing for Doris over there for Wolverhampton, the main event, that first night.
It was huge for him, and he was a bit nervous, but he went out there and showed why he can main event and hang with those kind of people, and it was such a good match. And Doris really did solidify himself as a main event star that night, I feel, in my opinion. It was just one of those matches where you kind of see talent, throughout the world, don't you? They're brilliant, they're really good, they're fascinating, captivating to watch, but there's always that one match that just it clicks, everything at the same time just works. And I think that was Doris's moment.
Yeah. The card was full of those kind of matches, though, wasn't it? Like there was a lot of wrestling matches with minus the storytelling. Like a lot of the matches were based on the actual just having dream matches or those strong style matches.
Yeah, it was. It was. I said to Nick Nemeth backstage because my voice was drained after that main event, and I said to Nick Nemeth, I was like, "Did you have to plan so many false finishes?" Because I just kept popping for them, then coming back down, popping and then coming back, and it was the card was like that throughout. I mean, the tag match was insane, and then straight after that, the winners went into a triple threat. So
Yeah.
it was just non-stop, and but we got there, we did it. The venue itself. Again, you guys have been there. I think all of you have been there, haven't you? I think.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Wolver. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No.
So, yeah, we'll have to get you over soon, man.
I'm dying to get over.
But it was, there was no standing room left. It was absolutely packed to the point where myself and Gio were actually almost late getting to our comms desk for the second half. So you hear me coming in halfway through Trevor Lee's entrance because we just couldn't get there. And it was the best atmosphere. Joe asked me what I thought of the show after literally when we finished, and I said that's the best thing we've put on in Wolves so far.
Yeah, it was definitely the most stacked cards. I was actually very disappointed I couldn't get over to it. Wrestling wise, I think it was phenomenal. You had that throwback match though, Trent Seven and Trevor Lee. Do you think many people got the fact that they had that match before in Wolverhampton and would have maybe remembered what came before that into it?
I mean, potentially that there was certainly a handful that knew, and you could tell they remembered Trevor Lee being there. So before the show, my usual gig is to go around the talent, gather any additional notes they want getting over on comms and stuff. And Trent came up to me and was like, "Yeah, we've only wrestled once." And I was like, "No, you haven't. You've wrestled 3 times. The last time you wrestled, you were in Philadelphia." And he's like, "Oh, I thought the last time we wrestled was in Wolverhampton." I was like, "No." It was at NXT. So I'm not going to lie, I kind of popped myself and I popped Trent for that. Being well researched. But it was a great match. And I've literally just tweeted a clip out only 5 minutes ago of that match, actually. But I think, the fans really did take to Trevor Lee. Obviously, then halfway through the match, he showed his frustration because Trent kept getting that comeback. And, the fans were slowly starting to, let him know what they really thought of him. And, but all in all, there was a lot of respect shown at the end. It was a really hard fought battle. And I think having Trevor Lee there, because that was only his 4th match back on the Indies since his non-compete had gone live. So it was just, I think it was somber for him to come back to Wolverhampton, to come to OTT, to come to the biggest event in Europe. I mean, all those stars aligned. I think it was just so awesome to have him there.
So for people who don't know, Simon, because we are a very heavy Irish audience, obviously,
yes.
Can you tell us from a UK perspective what shows like these do for the UK scene? How big of a thing these OTT shows are in Wolverhampton? Like they're getting 1,000 people in there, but what is it like around the scene? What do these shows do for it?
I think since OTT have been coming to Wolverhampton, the wrestling scene has had to step up over here a little bit as well, because no one puts on shows like OTT. And before I started working with OTT, this promotion were a bucket list. I remember reaching out into the DMs of OTT in 2018, which completely got aired, but it's fine. We're here now. Right? But I think for the whole scene, especially in Wolverhampton, which once upon a time was the heartbeat of British wrestling, OTT have brought that back to Wolverhampton, and now everyone is excited. I only got asked yesterday, because I was ring announcing somewhere else, if OTT were only doing 1 show a year. And, obviously as not just somebody that works for OTT, but he's so proud to be a part of this promotion and organisation, this boom that they're creating. I want to see them here every month. I know that financially it's pretty pricey at the moment to fly anyone anywhere. So, so hopefully, when that all changes eventually, and the world will reset at some point, we can slowly start working more OTT shows in over here. But yeah, they are putting 1,300 people. We were at capacity for this show, which was actually bigger than when we had John Moxley, which is nuts. And some of you guys know the crowd, they don't stop all show. So it's electric in there, and it really is, we have to raise our voice. Jade, the ring announcer, really has to project herself, and any talent that wants to pick up the mic and cut a promo, they've really got to go ham on it, because the crowd just will not stop, whether they're booing, chanting, showing appreciation, whatever it might be. They are so loud. Don't get me wrong, Dublin and Belfast crowds, they're different, man. You guys are built different over there. From when I came over, when was it, 2 years ago, man, I thought I knew good crowds until I came to Dublin. But Wolverhampton has got a special place, and they really, really love OTT coming over. So, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, there's more to come.
Will you be making the trip over for the anniversary show? I'm not sure if there's a Wolver show attached to that weekend yet, but with Balor
I will be there in Dublin, and I will be joining the commentary team.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Excellent. Brilliant.
Yeah. So no one else has been told that's not been put on social, but never mind. I'll wait for the message from Joe going, what are you doing?
What are you doing to me?
Yeah. But yeah, so all the flights are sorted now, and I will be there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it because I've been absolutely hammering on Joe to come back over, and it was meant to happen last year, but literally at the last minute, the prices for flights went from like £60 to 200 and something.
Yeah.
Just to get me there. So it's nuts, and I completely understood that position. So I'm just glad to be back, and obviously, look, it's Balor and Devlin, and I knew Devlin from back in the 2019 days when he was on the scene over here, but I've been a bit of a Balor mark all my life, to be honest. Well, since Balor took off for 8 years ago or whatever it was. Sorry. So yeah, look, it's going to be an amazing show. I know there's going to be some other big plans going on, and just to be a part of that 10 years in this small capacity, man, this is a dream come true for me. Like, just as a commentator and a fan of OTT.
Yeah, it's going to be a celebration of wrestling as well. With it being the 10 years, I think it's only right that you're there as well, because you've done, you yourself have done wonders promoting the show is over there. I see a pot. You're always on my Twitter feed. I like, you do some amount of grinding, putting up clips and stuff from the show, and how happy you are to be part of it. So it's I think it's only right that you're there, as you played that massive part in OTT so far. Like.
Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate that. And look, I intend to keep that up as well. So yeah, the more we do of these, the more I'll be around for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a stacked show. I mean, look, I think I should ask you guys what you thought, because you obviously would have just watched it back if you weren't there. Foxy, I know the crowd there, the environment, Wolverhampton, and you know yourself that the crowd they bounce off the walls down there. Yeah. So when you watched it back, what were your initial thoughts?
It's like, when I watched it back, it was just like, I know that like at the start they can be a bit quiet, because they're trying to ease themselves in, but like usually by midway through the show, it's just like, oh my god, like you can feel as you said, the electricity rise. And then when it comes down to like your main event match, like when you have them in that fever pitch of just like, right, they cannot contain themselves anymore. It's amazing to feel. And to be in the ring when that's happening, it's just like, oh my god, like, let me get rid of this energy force. Come on. Let's go. Like, I love that. Like, I personally love that, because like that's when you know you've got a good match on your hands, when like, right, I'm getting goosebumps. The energy is like really good here. Like, so let's give it our all and let's go for it.
Well, I've always wondered this, because obviously being a ref, you're such an integral part. You're really caught up in what's going on in there. But do you actually get a moment yourself to feel that?
I try my best to do it at least once or twice during the show. It depends on the circumstances of the match. So, but yeah, I do try to stop myself and actually just take it in, especially at the start of the show. As we're doing an entrance, coming out, if you look at the footage of any stadium show that we do in the last 2 years, like, I take my time on the stage, because I'm actually absorbing what's going on, as opposed to just being like, right, let's go. So I'm just like, I'm actually looking at the crowd. I'm actually like feeling their energy, and it gets me hyped up for what's about to come. So, like, I'm a fan of wrestling. Like, again, we wouldn't be doing this unless we were fans.
Yeah.
People tend to forget this little fact. Like, they take it too seriously. It's like, no, you're a fan first and foremost. Then you are
100%.
actually involved as a wrestler or performer or whatever you want to call it. But if you don't, if it's not fun, like, what's the point?
Yeah.
We're here to have fun. And it's true that, like, I talked earlier to the boys about, like pouring yourself into your performance and conveying real emotions is what gets fans into it. And by doing that, like, if they see that you're enjoying yourself, they will enjoy themselves as well.
Yeah.
Because they know this is fun. Like,
They're
I need
feeding off
this
that
fun.
energy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
I need that good
energy
energy.
is transparent, isn't it? You know,
Yeah.
if I'm enjoying myself, you're gonna see that and start feeling the same vibe. And I think that's so important, from, you know, an announcer, a commentator, to the guys who are doing it, putting their bodies on the line in the ring, to the refs, to the crew. Like, we are fans. We love what we do. Like, my reactions on commentary are natural because I'm so into it. And I think that's so important.
Yeah.
It's absolutely important because, like, that's why, to a degree, like, in the first couple of years, I used to want to know everything about what's going on the show. And then after a while, I started to stop myself from doing that. And it worked out better because I got to experience certain either announcements or certain events the same time as fans. So I got to not only react naturally with my genuine emotions, but I also got to pick up on everyone's energy as well. Like, when we did the announcement for Judgment Day, like, I'm standing just at the bottom of the stage beside our ring announcer, Dennis Murphy. And we feel the crowd erupt when the announcement happens. And we're like, holy shit. Oh, let's go. Like, you're all on October.
I saw that clip only an hour after you announced it, and it was a fan clip, and even
That's
I
Jerry's
had
probably.
goosebumps.
That was our clip, yeah.
That was
Well,
Jerry's.
yeah.
Jerry went viral.
Oh man, like, dude, even just that clip, I got goosebumps. I was like, oh my god, like, fuck, this is going to be insane.
Yeah.
Man,
In the
what
crowd,
reaction.
It was so unexpected in the crowd because it was during the interval and people were just standing around chatting and they played a video. People were just like, oh, it's just a video for something, just a promo package or something. And then when they mentioned, you know, your Judgment Day, and people were like, no way. And then they showed Jordan. It was like, oh, it's just Jordan. Jordan's coming back. And then they had fucking Balor coming up. I was like, fuck, what's going on? Where were we like, oh, is Rhea Ripley coming? Is Liv Morgan coming? But then they showed the two lads and it's like, fucking hell. Like, it was such a moment.
For me, there was an expectancy though, because, like, we knew that there was a stadium show potentially in 2 months. It's like, it's such a hard sell because you're only coming off the back of a stadium, and to do it again so quickly is like, it's difficult to get 2,200 people in the building.
Yeah.
But then to do it twice in 2 months is another feat in itself. And so when they showed the clip, I was like, oh, here's the anniversary. I'm like, I wonder who's going to be announced, because there has to be something. There has to be some hook in there.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it to be anything like it was. Like, I was expecting maybe someone from AEW or like we've got before, but I didn't expect to have, like, the first time we've ever had WWE superstars come over, like main roster WWE superstars. It's just a different level, like.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think as well, like, I don't know if you guys remember this, but when I came over to Dublin, Balor actually cut a little promo when we were in Dublin. It was shown on the screen, and it was like a Christmas thing, but he also
see you next year or something. He said,
yeah. So, and obviously that didn't happen, but now this year we're getting it, and we're getting it in like a month and a half.
It's surreal. It's very surreal.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing is an understatement.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Just one last time. This is the video.
Where we are today, but soon they will meet their Judgment Day.
Oh
Fucking
man,
still give me
Mental.
chills, man.
yeah.
You just feel the crowd rising. Like the
I
first
love it.
bit, it's like when they say Judgment Day, everyone's like, "What? Wait,
No.
what? Nah, it couldn't be." And then the clips, like, and you can just feel the crowd coming up. It's one of those.
It's
moments
infectious.
again.
Like it's
Yeah.
infectious energy that you want to be a part of, and it's like, my God, like the fact that it gives you goosebumps. You're like, oh, this is exciting. Oh,
Yeah. And look, this no one is doing it the way OTT are doing it right now. Yeah, when I step in the ring and I say that OTT are the biggest promotion outside of the Atlantic and Japan right now, I mean it, because no one's doing it the way we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and you look at October, man. You look at the reaction. You look at that crowd. I mean, shit. I've got goosebumps now just sitting here.
Simon, thank you for joining us. We're going to wrap it up there. We'll be back, obviously ahead of the anniversary shows. There's a lot more coming up. Hopefully, Simon, we might get you back on to get your thoughts on your research, what you're doing to get prepared for the anniversary show when you're coming over to Dublin. How you're expecting the crowd to react, and what your overall reaction might be going into Dublin. So when we arrange that, we'll get you back on properly, get a full episode with you.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'd love to, man. Yeah, just reach out whenever, dude, and we'll make it happen before I come over.
Excellent.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks,
it's been a pleasure.
Looking forward to seeing you in October, mate.
Take care.
Cheers, man. Lads. I think we've gone pretty long there for the show, but it was hard to leave out stuff to talk about because it was such a big weekend.
There's still so much there that we haven't touched on as well, but go and watch the fucking shows. Like,
go and watch it on demand. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe to OT on demand and try and feel exactly what, you're not going to feel what we felt live in person, but if you were there in person and you haven't subscribed and you don't want to go back and watch it, what's wrong with you? Go back and watch.
The thing is about them as well is that there was 3 shows and all 3 were different from each other. They felt different. They played different. They had different vibes. Like the Wolverhampton show was more of a pure wrestling show, very story driven on the Saturday, and then we saw the Next Generation on the Sunday. 3 very different shows.
Yeah.
There's something out there for everybody. It's £8 fucking.
Yep.
Go and sign up.
Yeah.
OTT on demand. Go subscribe. Get access to 10 years worth of content. My God, like there's a lot there.
Yeah, it's 10 years of OTT, so there's a lot to catch up on. If you haven't already watched it, you want to prepare, want to get all the Easter eggs that happened on the 10th anniversary. I'm sure there'll be a lot of callbacks to stuff that happened over the 10 years on that show.
Oh, yeah.
Go see Foxy getting coked up for the first time back on the show fucking 10 years ago. Sorry, powdered up or whatever you want to call it. Go see how JD McDonough became JD McDonough and Laura Valkyria became Laura Valkyria, and there's fucking loads out there. Everything. Go fucking look at it. 10 years worth of shit. It's unreal. I need to go look at shit myself as well.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a watch. We have to do a watch along. Maybe we'll do a watch along.
We'll go watch that Foxy match where he got coked the first time, and then we'll compare it to the match where he got coked the second time.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that.
This time went a lot smoother.
It was cut up a bit better, was it?
Higher quality.
The first time I didn't. The first time I got hurt doing this, so like
this time you had a heart attack, so like
true.
What's this word?
Which is column A, column B. It depends on what your perspective is.
Lads, pleasure having you on again as always. Lads, like, comment, subscribe to ourselves, follow us on Irish Wrestling 8 on all social medias, follow Foxy, go out and buy One Fall, the comic by Foxy and Brian is now available on digital as well. Foxy, is that correct?
Digital format. It's on our Ko-fi, which you can get the link at Newton Bat Productions on Instagram.com. The comic is €10 and it's available now, so
and it'll go to a
please
good
help
cause
us so that we can actually fund issue 2.
Yes,
issue 2 is done. We just need to print it, so we need money to do that, and we need your help to do that.
Go buy issue 1, so
go
Foxy
support
can print
Foxy,
issue 2.
or he will fuck you up at the anniversary show and pour coke for whatever's rest of the coke on you. Lads, again, thanks again for joining us. Everybody in the comments, thanks for joining us on the chat as well. Hopefully we'll be back next week or a week after. We'll come
after
up with
after London.
After London's over, yeah. Once we catch up on 2 weeks of sleep.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys. See you
Right
then.
now.
Cheers, guys.